Gaffer, Lewis, thanks for joining us. Obviously, Gaffer, we'll start with the elephant in the room. Lewis is sitting next to you. We've heard the news that Lee Bradbury's taken the first team manager's role at Eastleigh. I'm sure you've only got good things to say about him and wish him all the best.
Yeah, it was brewing last week, and it's no secret, obviously, sad to see him go, but wish him all the best, understand his reasons for going there. And as I said to you, we've had some good times here together, and he's an honourable man and, you know, deserves a lot of credit for what we've done here.
Yeah, as you say, built a lot, you know, done a lot with Lee. Performances such as the Leeds game, you know, will always live long in the memory of Crawley fans. You have built a lot, and I'm sure you're delighted that Lewis is also stepping up in his role and, you know, helping you along to create more memories like that. Yeah,
but we haven't announced that yet, so yeah. I'd like to welcome Lewis, because obviously Lewis is stepping up to be the assistant. Whatever that means, it just means that we do a lot more and don't get paid for it. Simple.
Fair enough. Lewis, I'm sure you're delighted. Obviously, as John said, sad to see Lee go, but I'm sure you're delighted to be taking up a little bit more responsibility around the place.
Yeah, definitely. I think I've always got to start with how much sort of thanks I've got to put towards Lee for helping me along the way in my little transition from playing to coaching, and with helping us build the squad that we've got. But, you know, I think Lee will be the first to say that that's not the end of our journey. We're going to keep trying to build and see how we go over the last part of the season. We've got 8 weeks, 15 games, and we're going to attack it as we have done already.
A great place for you to start. Obviously, plenty to build on. A brilliant win against Forest Green on Saturday, and, you know, 3 more home games on the bounce. You know, brilliant place for you to start in front of the fans. Yeah,
definitely. You know, we're trying to make this place a fortress again. It hasn't been for the large part of this season, but, you know, a big result on Saturday is something that we're going to build on. We go into tomorrow night full of confidence, and hopefully we can come back with 3 points.
Yeah, Gaffer, as Lewis said, full of confidence after Saturday's brilliant win. Obviously, we've gone from sort of one end of the scale to the other. Obviously, Oldham struggled in the first part of the season, but since John Sheridan's come back, they've got some impressive results, so I'm sure we're expecting a very tough game.
I told you, every time's Guff. I don't know what you mean by the end of the scale, because we try to do everything right as what we can do it, and sometimes you keep saying you forget there's opposition. You know, don't underestimate Oldham. They'll be coming here, and they're a good side. They've got good players. You know, got a top class manager in there who knows it, who knows what's it all about, and they'll be prepared to beat us. Don't worry about that. So we ain't going to lay down and let them, and not take it for granted because we beat Forest Green. That don't mean diddly. You know, we got to go on to the next game. So we got to keep trying, and we got to work harder. We got to even go stronger now, and we got, you know, the fans have got to be behind us even more. The club have got to be behind what we're trying to do even more, and we've just got to keep building. One thing, as I keep saying to you, we won't be through lack of effort from our point, and it wasn't when Lee was here, Bradders was here, and all of us. And for every player and everyone who wears that Crawley shirt and wears the badge, I know it's an old thing saying it, but they'll be behind us, because if they ain't, they won't be here.
A Manager of the Week performance for yourself. You've been included in the EFL Team of the Week. Is that something you take much notice in at all, or is that just sort of a nice
award? I didn't even know I had.
Yeah, well, congratulations.
I knew I was. But it's a credit to the team, isn't it? You know, you get enough stick when. Well, it was only a couple of weeks ago that I didn't know what I was doing, and maybe it's time for this and time for that for some people. But listen, if you take the plaudits, you've also got to take the other stuff. So everybody likes being liked, didn't they? So yeah, it was decent to get in something like that, but don't mean nothing to me if we don't go and perform tomorrow.
Lewis, obviously, as part of one of your new roles, might be, you know, helping her out with individual players a lot. We welcomed Ronan Silva to the squad last week. How have you seen him develop in the last few weeks where he's been training with us?
Yeah, he's done really well, as of the rest of the squad. You know, I don't think my role is going to massively change to what I've already been doing. But as long as the boys give us everything out on the training pitch, competition for places makes it a tougher place, and you see that in the performances. We take every game as it comes, and tomorrow we're going to go in, like I said, full of confidence and ready to go to battle again with Oldham.
Yeah, it's going to be really tough, you know, for the players, you know, trying to keep their places, especially with the amount of games we've got in, you know, I think we're Saturday, Tuesday for the next 3 weeks or so, so it's going to be really important, you know, for everyone to get involved and get stuck in, really.
Yeah, definitely, and that's why we demand, and the manager and myself are demanding high standards every day with the way sort of the boys carry themselves, and hopefully we saw that on Saturday and throughout the season. You know, it's been consistent across the whole season, or since the Gaffer and Brothers did come in. So, you know, we're just going to keep trying to stay by that, and they're the fundamentals that we try and live by.
Cool, thank you.
Thanks.
Stay with you, Lewis, and congratulations on stepping up and that. How much are you looking forward to that role?
Oh yeah, massive. Like, you know, it feels like only a couple of weeks ago I was out there playing, but I've been fortunate enough to be able to get the opportunity to coach and help out, and now in a bit more of a prevalent role. You know, the boys have been brilliant. They've really responded to me and not taking it as sort of an ex-player playing with them, and you know, hopefully that they continue to do that.
Yeah, and how good is this squad from your point of view, from what you've seen over the last sort of season or so?
I've said it many a times to the boys in there that this is a squad that I'd love to have played with, but I'm fortunate enough to be able to work with them day in, day out, and now it's just sort of, we're just taking it game by game, as I say, and we'll see where we end up at the end of the season.
Yeah, and how much have you learned from this man since you've become coach of the club and that?
Oh, massive amounts. And I'll be forever thankful for giving me the opportunity that I've got. Himself and brothers as well as equal. But you know, like, now it's for my time to give back and help him out there come Tuesday, come Saturday, and for the rest of the season at least.
Yeah, and what will you miss about Lee not being at the club anymore?
Personality.
Yeah,
brilliant personality. But he's someone I could pick up the phone to at any point, any time of day, and I hope that will stay the same. But you know, he's been brilliant for us, but it's not to say that the end of the journey is now. We've got to keep continuing on from what he started to build, and us as a club are trying to build.
Thanks, Les. Same question to you, John. What will you miss about Lee?
Yeah, so it's good when you've got someone you can bounce off. Obviously, he knows football inside out. He has been a good manager. He will be a good manager, and it's just someone else to talk football about. But if football's like that, you meet friends and you like class Lee as a friend, not just an acquaintance. And there's not too many of them about. We all work with people in football who you can't wait to see the back of. But he's not one of them, and he'd be welcome wherever I've been. So if I ever get the sack from here, I might be going with him.
And how far do you think he can go as a manager?
Like I say, as far as it's a funny old game, because you've only got to look around the game now and you see some of the names that are taking jobs now, and you suddenly think, well, you know what? You don't take this job for granted. You don't take, Lewis will tell you, playing side of it. If you start taking that for granted, I've said it all along, there's 90 odd football clubs, and to be working at one of them, whether you're doing the media or whether you're doing the coaching or anything, to be working at one of them clubs, count your blessings. Because there's a lot of good people out there that are out of work, and there's a lot of good people in there trying to get back in. So every day we're tested, every day you're buying into the players, and as soon as you take that for granted, you give up. You might as well go and work for the Crawley Observer.
They'll be welcome. Going back to football, did Saturday show what this team is capable of, in your eyes?
Not really. It don't show what we're capable of. It shows you what we've got to do. We've built a squad all the time, but you sit back and you look at some of the games that we should have got more points from, and you look at the games and blah, 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 blah. We've got good, I said to you, without injuries, without the COVID, without everything else, it would have been a bit more of a level playing field. At the minute, we're just showing people, and I know we're just saying, we know it's in the tank, and that's not being blasé, but how we've got the squad going on the budget that we've got and things like this, it's just a credit to all the players and everybody buying into what we want to do. I said to you before, there's no big times, there's nothing like that, we wouldn't stand it.
No.
And everybody gets their opportunity, and they've got to be ready, and if they grab it, they grab it. 1 minute I'm getting criticised for sending players out on loan. Well, players that are going out on loan need games to come back and represent the club or win contracts. It's not a youth club. You don't just all pay your membership and stay here. You've got to keep earning the right to be here.
Yeah, and talking about players taking their opportunity, Ashley Anderson on Saturday was superb when he came on. I wasn't there, but I understand he was. And that's what you expect from your subs. They're not substitutes. They're part of the team, aren't they? That's what you've always said.
I've been saying that all the time. And,
yeah.
Nags obviously has had his critics as well, but we know what he's got. You know what he's got under the locker. When he's on like he was the other day, he's unplayable. If he goes like he does sometimes, and listen, you can understand players playing bad, because nobody goes out there thinking, you know what, I'm going to have a mare today. They don't do that. But if it happens, it happens. But the consistency, once you reach that consistency, you start going and you climb the leagues and you can start going. And that's as managers as coaches. Because if I sat here and think, oh yeah, what is it, manager of the week or whatever it is, Well, if I suddenly swan around thinking that and go out tomorrow and get beat, you know what? Bangers will be back, you know? So you're testing yourself all the time.
And Remy, any update on his injury from Saturday?
Yes, he's be out for 2-3 weeks.
Okay, big loss.
Yeah. You bring people in, you don't. That's what I'm saying to you. We haven't stopped. That's what we was talking about this morning. Funny enough, we haven't stopped having injuries for some reason this year. I've talked to Tom Nichols about it and that today. And you think if we could get a side out, it'd be hard to pick a good side, the best side. But if you could and get the same consistency that other sides seem to be getting. But listen, that's football. It comes around. Let's hope we're consistent now for the next 15 games, because it'd be like having new players back.
Yeah.
So we got to challenge ourselves. We've got to make sure that the players are tested every day. That you're setting them ideas. That's the point of coaching and managing. You've got to make sure that everybody's buying into what you're doing. If it starts getting stale, when we get stale, you know what? The whole thing gets stale. That's why we need the supporters to keep us fresh, to keep us on the bubble, to keep us reminded. Good and bad.
Yeah, and results like Saturday will help that. Hopefully the fans will come along for the next couple of games.
Well, yeah, but then you could say that the away form that we've had, you know, you're beating Bradfords and you're going to places like that and when, you know, you've got 6 points. If the fans can't see what this team is capable of and what we are achieving at the moment, well, let's just hope that the future is a little bit more solid to start with and we can push on. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, brilliant. Thanks, John.
Tim.
Thanks, Sam. Hi, guys. John, yeah, if I could just get a couple of questions on Lee Bradbury's departure. Just a quick word again then on what he's given you as an assistant over that time. It's been a very successful partnership. What's his role been in that? What's he given you as a person?
A packet of mints every Saturday was the first thing.
Bribery. Yeah.
Just experience. It's someone who's been around the game. There's no ego with Lee, is there? You know, and I think I credit myself with that, you know, I'm not in it for myself. We want to do the best for other people. He knows his football. He's a very, very honest person. It was just good to have a... Well, he is good, you know what I mean? The fella's only gone down Eastleigh. Ain't as though he's marching out to Ukraine, is it? You know, he's only taken over another football club. And he's always at the end of the phone. It's the same as we are to him. But you will miss him. You will miss, you know, his stories about the Isle of Wight Eagle and things like that, you know. That's for me after dinner speech. I'll tell you about the Isle of Wight Eagle one day.
You understand why he went?
Of course I do. Of course I do. If I was in his position, well, I am in his position because as close as I am to Crawley, Lee is as close to Eastleigh. And like I say to you about the jobs, when you see some of the people taking jobs in football that you think, well, what's he going there for or what's he doing there for? There's a lot of good people out of work, and to get offered a manager's role and to be your own man, for want of a better word, it's an opportunity. I'd done exactly the same, really, coming in here. It's just that we work well together, but now you've got Lewis's generation and that. If you can pass on things like, you know, we did when I was playing for, you know, like the Malcolm Allisons and the Ray Lewingtons and people like this all around the football, well, that's what it's all about. It's when they don't want to talk to you, that's when you know you're in trouble.
Lewis, you're coming in, is it big shoes to fill?
Yeah, obviously. You've got to just look at Brothers' career playing and coaching. He's done fantastic, but, you know, I'm my own person and I'll come in with sort of different ideas and fresh sort of eyes, and, you know, I've been helping in the background as long as sort of the manager and Lee have been in, so hopefully I'll just be more of a prevalent figure, and just hopefully some of my messages just get through to the players.
It's a wonderful opportunity for you, isn't it, to work with John, whose black book is, you know, 6 foot tall, and to do some coaching right alongside him. Yeah,
massive. I've been forever sitting down with sort of the gaffer many a times, and he's been telling me little nuggets of information and writing them down, and I've got them all written down in my book at home. So I've got to be beyond thankful for that. But, you know, now I'm obviously next to him on his shoulder, and sometimes we're going to try and be as successful as him and Lee were prior.
Does the type of coach you are come from the player you were, perhaps? Yeah, you were more defensive minded. Well, does that come through in the coaching, or do you find Lee was able to coach all 3 areas of the pitch?
I think coaching is just sort of down to your experiences. sort of coaches that you've come across, people that you've come across in football, down to sort of some of my playing days I'll obviously go back on. So, you know, I've had a taste of it all. Sort of when I was a kid, I started off as a striker, funny enough, and then sort of slowly, progressively getting pushed back further. So, you know, I've had an experience of it all, but, you know, that's where I've been lucky that I've picked up little bits of information from so many people around the game.
What about the quality of player you have at Crawley? We spoke to John week after week about players who are coming perhaps down from, you know, the likes of the Championship at Derby, who are coming up from non-league. You've got a real mix. People haven't quite made it in the pro game, or, you know, or the top 2 divisions. There's a real mix in that dressing room, isn't there? And that must be an interesting challenge on the coaching ground.
Yeah, definitely. I think you can just see it day to day in the quality of training. I think we're trying to make it that training becomes as tough, if not tougher than games, and players are sort of coming to the game day and think, right, I know what I'm coming up against and whatnot. And you know, when you're bringing in someone of the ilk of Joe Lynch, Tony Craig, Tom Nichols, I could carry on naming Kwesi Appiah. Like, if you see those names coming in and the next to you in the dressing room, it brings out more in you, and it sort of boosts up your shoulders to say, do you know what, I want to be as good as them, or try and achieve a cusp of what they've achieved.
Would you, I mean, it's very early, you just got an assistant, you know, sort of manager or coaching role today, but do you see yourself managing perhaps one day, or do you think you're very much a coach?
You know, it's not something I've really in-depthly thought about. At the moment, I'm just enjoying what I'm doing, and I'm really like happy and ecstatic to be able to get this opportunity, and I just want to get my teeth into this and, you know, see how we go from there.
And tomorrow night, Oldham, the visitors, of course, Crawley doing what they've so often done, fantastic wins. It's whether it's following that up, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely. I know Oldham's position is second from bottom, but you just got to look at the previous 6 results for them. They've got 3 wins and 3 draws. So, you know, since the manager's gone in, John Sheridan, who's a fantastic manager, they've picked up a lot of form. So we've definitely got to be on our mettle tomorrow and be ready for whatever they're going to throw at us, because obviously they're fighting for their lives, but we're also fighting for our lives, because no matter what, you're still fighting for something, and we still think we're in sort of shooting range to try and improve.
John, you'd echo that. You've got to beware of Oldham, haven't you?
Yeah, well, of course you've got to beware of every side. I thought you was going to ask me then if I was looking forward to going into management.
Don't call it, you're still caretaker.
I know.
£4.50 a week.
I know, £4.50. That's radio presenters' money, isn't it? I ain't on that much.
Yeah, it's tomorrow night. If only you could follow up Saturday on a regular basis, you'd be in that top 7 with a bag on your head, wouldn't you?
Yeah, but there's the old saying, mate, if my auntie had a winkle, she'd be me uncle, wouldn't she? So we can only influence what's in front of us. And it's no ifs or buts, and it's people, no disrespect, but it's people that put you under pressure like that, Tim, when they say if only, if only. Well, we don't want to be an if only, we've got to be we are. And the thing being with it is, there's always another side out there. You know, don't get me wrong. They come here, Oldham, and I know, you know, the manager would have them fired up, because we'll be looked there as the big-time Charlies that just beat the league leaders. We got to go and get at them. Let's go and see what we can do. Watch they don't fall up your head, Tim, so we can get what we're doing. And, you know, we've then got to start making sure that when people come to this place, whether it's here, whether it's wherever we are, wherever we're training, we show the same effort. And that's one thing you'll be guaranteed out of the boys. They'll be prepared right and they'll be ready. Then it's down to them or down to us to make sure that gets produced on the pitch.